This will probably be one of the best Halloween Horror Nights events in Hollywood history with the lineup that we have. And I'm going to tell you why coming up next. What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to Exploring Attractions. My name is Scott, and you're watching your stop for all things theme park and attraction related. If you're new here, consider subscribing down below with those bell notifications on. Check out our website, exploringattractions.com, and every other thing, including our social media, will be down below in the description. Well, everyone, we have our massive, and I'm talking massive, Horror Nights announcements for Hollywood. Earlier this week, we of course got Orlando, which was fun and exciting, but I know the majority of my audience are all Hollywood fans, and you've been itching to get yourself a new house announcement. Well, it's here, and a lot more in fact, as today they announced 3 houses, the 3 scare zones, and of course the Terror Tram theme. And of course, we have the beloved Jabberwocky show making its grand return. Alright, but let's move into the real excitement. First, we're going to kick things off with the 3 new haunted houses that they released today. So finally, we can put all the speculation to rest as we have confirmation on Killer Klowns from Outer Space, making its grand return to the event. Last time we saw this house, it was in 2019, and let me tell you, it's definitely in my top 3 houses of all time. Funny enough, a couple of these houses that were announced today are my top 3. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Killer Klowns from Outer Space, such an amazing house and stays true to the beloved B-horror movie, and I cannot wait to once again walk through it. Murdy did open up a Q&A box up on Twitter, and somebody asked, what are the differences between Killer Klowns from this year to 2019, and he said it's pretty much a straight redo. It would be safe to assume that we're going to be walking through the exact same maze as we did in 2019, which honestly, I'm perfectly fine with. I am so excited for Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Like I said, top 3 houses for sure. On top of that, we got the announcement for Universal Horror Hotel. Universal Horror Hotel lives up to its reputation as the original owner, who was executed years ago for his dastardly deeds, continues to haunt the place today, and guests must escape his vengeful spirit or risk becoming a permanent resident. Seems kind of menacing, right? I mean, you can learn all about this one in the Midsummer Scream panel that he put out, and I actually have a full video in regards to that panel down below in the description as well. He gave a little bit of a sneak peek of what to expect with this theme. He didn't tell us what it's about. He didn't tell us if it's going to be a zone, a house, but a lot of speculation was surrounding a house. And honestly, the general theme of it seems pretty awesome. I love the hotel theme. I love the way that they put the key art together. I think the key art looks absolutely phenomenal. The only thing that I would change is having some scary creature on it, but I mean, this is subtle and we don't know what to expect while going into this house, which is awesome. This is actually going to be located in the former Walking Dead location, the Walking Dead attraction. Now, rumor has it that there's nothing in there, and obviously this rumor pretty much confirms it because they're going to be putting a new house in there. So I'm really curious to see if we'll notice anything similar to the Walking Dead attraction. Will the queue line still be there, or is it just completely an empty building? Who knows? We'll just have to find out. Murdy also confirmed on Twitter that there will be a pre-show for this house as well. Now, the last time we had a pre-show was with, of course, the Curse of Pandora's Box last year, and in 2019, it was a cool little small pre-show that only a few people caught. I'm curious to see if this will be a more elaborate one, since he did say it's with animated effects. So will we be more standing there for a couple minutes and enjoying it, or will it be a quick 10-second thing like Pandora's Box was? I'm really curious to see what the pre-show aspect of it is, because typically Horror Nights strays away from that. But I think pre-shows are pretty awesome if executed properly and it's not messing up crowd flow. And last but not least, we have confirmation on La Llorona the Weeping Woman making its grand return. Last time we saw this was in 2012, and this has been my all-time favorite Halloween Horror Nights house that I've ever walked through. So I am extremely excited for it to be official. There's been speculation surrounding the facade and everything surrounding it, and I'm just like, man, I don't want to get my hopes up until it's actually confirmed. And sure enough, guys, it's officially confirmed, and man, I cannot wait to finally experience it once again. The 2012 version and 2011 version were amazing. The facades were amazing. The facade looks amazing already in person at the park right now. Oh man, I cannot wait to walk through it again. I'm so excited. Well, if you don't know the story of La Llorona, well, to sum it up, it features the legend of La Llorona, who comes to life to terrorize the living as she mourns the children that she murdered. I cannot begin to tell you how freaking amazing this house is and how terrifying it is. Like, this will probably be the most terrifying house at the event this year, and I can hands down say that because you gotta remember, guys, I was very young walking to this in 2012. Anyways, more on the house. There's gonna be an extended scare zone for it, and we do know that there will be some minor tweaks throughout the house, so it won't be exactly the same, just like Killer Klowns is being done as a straight redo. Well, this one will have minor tweaks. We also got this cool, unique look at a new Scarecrow the Reaping concept art. Obviously has King Crow at the top. I think that's really neat, and honestly, I'm excited for this house, as we've been talking about over the channel since the Midsummer Scream announcement. Alright, but I did mention scare zones, so let's move into scare zones. First, we're going to start off with El Pueblo del Terror, and this is going to be the extension to the La Llorona house. As the horror continues, once guests exit the haunted house and discover there is no escaping the frightening legend, along with other supernatural characters from Latin America's most frightening myths. So I wonder, since Orlando's getting a Chupacabra house, will we also see the Chupacabra in this scare zone in some fashion? I mean, you can already see scare zone props start to be out at the park right now for this zone, and it looks like it's going to extend all the way past animal actors. So this is going to be a very extensive zone, which I'm super excited about. Usually it's just on that one street, and then it kind of just ends once you get to the facade of the house, but this is actually extending, like I said, all the way past animal actors, and I cannot wait because that means that the animal actors' bathrooms are no longer safe. We move into the two front ones, Sideshow Slaughterhouse. That turns New York Street into a battle zone as the performers and workers from a seedy carnival sideshow are on a murderous rampage. I really love this a lot. I think it's awesome. I think it ties back to historical HHN. Obviously, we've had plenty of clowns and other freaks of nature in different zones, and coincidentally enough, the other scare zone is named Clown Saws, which features a demonic troupe of clowns who band together to terrorize guests with chainsaws as they enter the park. So Clown Saws will be in the very beginning, and then once you get past Starbucks, that will be Sideshow Slaughterhouse. Now, like I said, I'm excited for both of them, one being the historic tie-in to old HHN zones. We've had a clown zone before, we've seen freaks before. I think that this looks awesome already from just the kind of style of props that they have out. Yeah, I think this is going to be great. I'm curious to see the stilt walkers that they'll have. I'm curious to see the different, obviously we'll have all clowns. Like, who doesn't love clowns? Who isn't terrified of clowns? It is undetermined right now whether or not there will be opening ceremony. I'm really hoping there is because, man, I miss opening ceremony a whole lot. That was one of like the coolest things for Halloween Horror Nights in Hollywood, and I really hope they bring it back. There is a huge safety issue, not only with us going through a massive pandemic, but also with just people getting trampled. So I get the safety issue. I'm just really curious to see if they're going to have some form of opening ceremony this year. And staying on the Scare Zones topics, John actually put out that there's going to be 5 different areas where you'll be able to see different characters. And there's going to be character encounters is what he says. So what are these character encounters? Well, who knows? But they're putting them all on the upper lot. Could these be roaming hordes? Could they be something else? Could they be themed to the Simpsons area? Highly doubt that, but we do have confirmation on one of them that he may be talking about, and that, of course, is Death Eaters are finally coming to Halloween Horror Nights, and man, I am so hyped for this. This is something that Halloween Horror Nights fans have been asking for the longest time. Obviously, there's that issue with J.K. Rowling, and then since last year, they opened up the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, so she was a little bit more lenient on that. Now she's even more lenient to where we're getting Death Eaters, and this is going to be, like, this is just going to make the event so much greater. I think that this will be one of the highest rated experiences there. And now keep in mind, there's not going to be tons of Death Eaters running around the land, but I think that it will be so cool at the fact that there's so many Harry Potter fans who are also horror fans that will get to experience something like this while still fitting the Horror Nights themed, and man, I cannot wait because it's going to be so awesome. I mean, imagine getting casted as a Death Eater. Like, it's your first year at Horror Nights and you get casted as a Death Eater. That'd be freaking nuts. Alright, but now that we've talked about zones, now that we've talked about haunted houses, and now that, of course, we've talked about the Jabberwockies a little bit, let's get into everybody's most anticipated thing. I shouldn't say most anticipated because other people are anticipating other stuff, but let's just say speculated thing in the Terror Tram. We have answers as far as the Jupiter's Claim sets go, and we have answers as far as what the theme is for this year's Terror Tram. Now this year we can expect Hollywood Harry's Halloween. That's right everyone, Hollywood Harry is back, and I gotta say that's probably one of the coolest trailers that we've ever seen for Hollywood in specific. I think that the two Hollywood ones and the Klowns one that they put out are probably better than all the Orlando ones in my opinion. I mean, they're not Orlando specific, they're obviously shared, but they're all filmed in Orlando. I'm so freaking pumped for Terror Tram, and that's partially due to the reason that Murdy actually put out some sneak peeks of the different mask sculpts, as he said that we're going to be encountering sheet ghosts, black cats, jack-o'-lanterns, basically everything that makes Halloween. So we're going to have kind of a vintage themed Halloween Hollywood Harry Terror Tram, and I'm super excited to see what the different stories are in the story of Hollywood Harry. But the big question is, will Jupiter's Claim be used for this? And we have answers to that, and that answer is yes, and in a twist that we didn't expect, quite frankly. So guests will obviously be walking the route of the Terror Tram and then cross the street over to the Jupiter's Claim set. It's going to be kind of a hike, guys. It's going to be a long walk, so get your walking shoes on. And you should have walking shoes already when attending HHN, but it's going to be a long Terror Tram this year. But in the Jupiter's Claim set, we're actually going to be encountering the Tethered from Jordan Peele's Us. We've seen this movie before in a maze fashion in 2019, and we've seen the Tethered before, so I'm super excited to see the Tethered roaming Jupiter's Claim set. They're going to be running around there, scaring guests, and of course we get the best of both worlds, kind of a crossover 2-for-1 special with Jordan Peele's films, and I think that's such an awesome thing and a way to cross-promote the movies, even though Us has been out for a while. Nope is still relatively fresh, and it's actually still in some theaters, so I think that is a perfect way to not only promote Jordan Peele, but cross-promote the two films. And also, who doesn't love seeing the Tethered once again? Like, the Us maze in Hollywood was hands down also one of the best mazes at Horror Nights. I wouldn't say it's up there in the top 3, maybe top 10, but it was definitely such a solid maze that none of us expected it to be as elaborate and detailed as it was. Actually, everybody was writing it off, saying that how could they make this into a maze? How could they make this scary? Well, Horror Nights did just that. Of course, all these attractions joined the already announced lineup in the Weekend After Hours Nightmare, Halloween, The Horrors of Blumhouse, Universal Monsters, Legends Collide, and like I said, Scarecrow the Reaping. Now, I really do think that this is going to be one of the best events that we've seen in the most recent years. I think this will probably be on like 2010 to 2012 level, right before there were cuts in Horror Nights. I think that it's going to be such a unique event. And the reason I say that is because there's so much to do between the Universal Plaza area, between now them expanding on this whole Latin American kind of creatures and theme, them obviously having the entire upper lot covered in monsters, whether it just be a character encounter or just the zones in the front. I think that this event feels complete. There's going to be so much to do, so many haunted houses, in fact 8 to where you don't have to walk too far. You don't have to walk all the way to the back lot and walk through the toxic tunnel. 8 haunted houses, easily accessible, and there's just so much to do. So you're definitely going to want to visit multiple times, and that's why I always recommend the Frequent Fear Pass. And tickets are all now on sale, which you can purchase on the official Universal Studios Hollywood website. HHN Hollywood kicks off on September 8th and runs until October 31st, and we want to see you all there, so make sure you get your tickets fast. And when you can, let me know down below in the comments section what you think about today's massive announcement. What are you most excited for? Are you excited for Death Eaters, or are you excited for Killer Klowns to make its return? Let me know down below in the comments section. But that's going to do it for today's video, everyone. Like I said, my name is Scott, and you've been watching Exploring Attractions. Subscribe if you're new here with those bell notifications on. Positivity is key, and most importantly, remember to keep exploring. Peace out, everybody.